Okay. So hi everyone and welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. And I want to welcome also Rhonda Muller from Mackay, who's going to be our guest speaker as well. So just get yourself comfortable, have some water because it's quite hot, and also get a pen and paper if you need to take some note. So for those who don't know me, my name is Morgane. I'm from MD Healing. And I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and a remedial massage therapist. And I'm currently in Beachmont, which is 30 minutes west of the Gold Coast. So I come from France and I moved to Australia in 2009 and I had a lot of health issues. So I had like massive headaches, migraine, vomiting, PMS, IBS, which is gut issues, constipation, bloating, skin issue. I had depression as well, which is part of mental illness. I was diagnosed as mild ADHD as a child, and I also had a bit of a Tourette syndrome. So I come from a kind of a heavy past. So in Australia, as I went to a doctor, and the doctor found out some blood results were quite alarming, and it kind of scared me away. So I looked at different diets. So I tried vegetarian, vegan, and I was getting worse. And I finally found the GAPS diet from Natasha McBride Campbell, and it stands for Gut and Psychology Syndrome. And when I read it, I understood that the gut is everything. And I'm like, I'm going to give it a go. So I went in, and in 4 months, all my symptoms went away. I am not joking. All my symptoms went away. Dandruff, PMS, everything, stress, anxiety, everything went away in 4 months. But I did it really, really strictly. So that really worked for me. And I got so inspired and so empowered that I wanted to help others. So I said, how can I become qualified to help others? So I become a functional nutritionist in 2016 and also a remedial massage therapist. So I really wanted to work on the physical body, but also on the function of digestion. So, and for those who know me, in 2022, I went on maternity leave. And so I have a beautiful boy. He's 3.5 years old now. I hope you don't hear him crying right now. But I had an amazing birth, the most amazing I could ever imagine. If I didn't do the diet, I didn't do what I did to do, I don't think I would have the birth that I had. So I'm very, very blessed, very happy that it went really well. But afterward, there was kind of a bit of a journey. I went breastfeeding for 2.5 years. I had no family, learning it all from scratch, had no idea. I learned about co-sleeping, waking up at night, not sleeping at all, and keep working during the day. And also I got really, really stressed. First child, first year, first mom, first time mom. It's quite overwhelming. And also we went through a big financial stress. My partner lost his job during COVID. And that's when I was pregnant at the time as well. So it was really stressful. We nearly had to sell our house. So luckily we managed to stay in a house, and I kept on going with my diet. It keeps me above the water. So you can do it financially, even financially broke, you can do it. So yeah. And but after all these years with the stress and everything, some of my symptoms came back, and the fatigue, the extreme fatigue, and I was less resilient. I was really kind of struggling again. Not all my symptoms came back. I was still really in good condition, but with the lack of sleep and the stress. And I also discovered that we had mold issue in the house, so which is a deeper problem as well because it affects the gut. So I did work on that, and I kept looking online, and I found Rhonda on Facebook that's done the same courses as me, and I've been following her, and I love her stuff. Unbelievable. I saw the results she's getting, all the pictures. I was following her pretty much nearly every day, watching what she was doing, and I'm like, wow, that inspired me again. And I saw that she was talking about the activators, and I didn't know what it was. And I'm usually not sold on one supplement, or that's not a supplement, but anyway, Rhonda will talk about it later. I just decided to give it a go. And here I am 2 weeks later, after taking them, I start feeling energy, my skin, I felt resilient, less stress. I could notice the difference. There's one day suddenly I had a burst of energy. I felt like I had $1,000,000. I could just clean the whole house. And I'm like, wow.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay. And then after it off and kind of started getting activated, right? And yeah, and I had so much clarity as well. And I just decided I wanted to go back into business. So here I am, back into business. And I'm really, really passionate about it. And so what I'm going to do now is pass it over to Rhonda. Rhonda's going to share her story as well. And she's going to share some slides for you as well. So thank you, Rhonda, for being here.
Yeah, thank you for organising it, Morgan. I really appreciate it. And your story is absolutely remarkable. I hear it on a regular basis of so many mums that are just burnt out and are looking and doing everything they can to get back on track. So, and my story is very, very similar to yours as a child. Lots of health issues, tonsillitis, antibiotics, all these things. And then fast forward, my own children, the youngest was having all sorts of issues, was developing fine, but then he was up and running at 8 months like his two big brothers and have a chat like his big sister. But then at 20 months, it's like someone came in and started turning all the circuit breakers off. And I wasn't in the health sector back then. I was very similar to you, trying to find solutions, etc. And so, yeah, when he was diagnosed level 3 severely autistic back in May 2008, I knew I needed to get support because all there was within mainstream medicine was a script. Here's a script for his skin issues. Here's a script for his breathing issues. All of these other things. And, he's not doing that or he's doing that because he's severely autistic. It was like, well, that didn't cut it for me. So that's why I started to study, and everything I was learning, I was pouring into him, and we were getting exceptional results. So he was diagnosed in May 2008, and then 8 years later, after me pouring all the nutrient therapy into it, looking at what was underlying the, really addressing the root cause and removing what was harming, replenished with what was healing, his diagnosis was actually reversed. And we are not here to say that we're going to cure, mitigate, reverse, diagnose any kind of disease or condition. But when you give the body what it needs as a foundation, you heal on a cellular level. And then, for example, all the speech therapy, occupational therapy, everything that we were doing during that 8-year journey was working. He was able to retain all the information, pick up the ball and run. Really all the therapies that we were spending a truckload of money and time investing into it was actually working. So, yeah, a long story cut short, in 2016, when his diagnosis was reversed, the other thing that happened was I totally crashed, totally burnt myself out. Anyone here have that feeling where you're always, burning the candle at both ends, you go, 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 you always put yourself on the back burner. The majority of us are all the same. So, yeah, I pretty much sold off my bricks and mortar clinic and went online. And I've been online since 2016. And 2.5 years later, I found out about activation. And I really wish I'd known about it back then. When my son, even like the activation products have been around since 2003. So, yeah, if I'd only known about the products back then, I believe I would have recovered him way faster, but I would not have burnt myself out in the process. So that's enough about me. If you want to learn more about my journey or anything, then please just reach out to the person who was kind enough to share this info with you. All right, so let's get going. So we're really going to be talking about activation tonight. And so we believe this is the front line of the next frontier. We don't wait for the future of healthcare. we activate it. Yes. And when we talk about activating, like for example, with me, all of my, adrenal fatigue and everything like that, when we reawaken our body and help everything to get working again, our body can do amazing things. Like within 3 days, I noticed it. Very similar to Morgane. She was saying within 2 weeks. Everyone's different, right? But we're not waiting for things. We're not waiting for the mainstream medicine to try and catch up. We're activating. It's the future of healthcare, right? Because the old model is broken. We're not about treating symptoms. We're about activating the dormant potential, things that have gone asleep or been pushed down, etc. We're reawakening. So I'm not sure if you've heard about Dr. Ignace Semmelweis. He was a maternity doctor in the 1800s. And he was known as the savior of mothers because he was noticing the nurses and stuff, they were washing their hands with soap. And disease and infections started to really decline. When he went back to the doctors to share what he had found, they ridiculed him. He actually died a pauper, totally stripped of his credentials, his credibility, because he was talking about something different. He was a critical thinker. So what we're sharing here tonight, I just ask you to keep an open mind. Think about it, right? Because you may not have heard about nutrigenomics. You may not have heard about activation, but it could change your world. Okay, so let's get cracking. So Hippocrates pretty much said all disease begins in the gut, and I 100% agree with that. When we think about our gut, right, our microbiome, that pretty much starts from in the womb. Whatever the microbiome it was from our mother, our grandmother, it's passed down through the generations. How you were breastfed, were you a vaginal delivery or a C-section, the environment, the medications, were you on the pill before you conceived? Have you had any antibiotics? Have your children had antibiotics? That's going to alter your microbiome, right? Then the food that you're eating. If you're eating a lot of processed food, that's going to alter your microbiome. If you're eating a lot of plant-based and good quality animal proteins, etc., that's also going to change your microbiome. So when we look at the microbiome, we have diversity, hopefully a good diverse range of beneficial bacteria, the good guys and the bad guys, right? And we need some bad guys. It's not we're trying to wipe them all out. But the diversity of our beneficial bacteria, we really should have like the Amazon jungle, the Amazon rainforest, but majority of people have a concrete courtyard with a cat, dog, and a bird, maybe a couple of pots and plants. We need to get it back to a really good diverse range of beneficial bacteria. When we have too much of the unfriendly bacteria, they call that bacterial dysbiosis, and that causes candida overgrowth. So that could be thrush, it could be UTIs, it could be cradle cap. Your babies, have cradle cap. It could be dandruff, all these different things. The unfriendly bacteria release toxins, and that breaks down the mucosal layer, which is the force field all throughout your body. It keeps, all the things out that should not enter the bloodstream. And so it's like respiratory, your lungs, etc., ear, nose, and throat, reproductive organs, the blood-brain barrier. When we have the bacterial dysbiosis, it creates what we call leaky gut. And then that allows all of these things to seep through into the bloodstream, which creates problems, right? So when the mucosal layer is nice and plump in the small intestine, the long squiggly bit, you can see here the yellow bit, it looks quite thick. It's thinner than a strand of hair. But this is the force field that keeps everything out, all the undigested food, pathogens, bacteria. These are the tight junctions. These are the free radical molecules. Go back to high school biology. If you're breathing, metabolizing food, you have free radicals. All mammals on the planet have free radicals. We can't avoid it. Our body, when working properly, makes antioxidants to neutralize those free radicals so they don't run amok and get out of control. This is the mitochondria, the battery in every single cell in your body. It creates ATP. It's the energy, yeah? When you have inflammation, when you have bacterial imbalances, then you're going to see a significant decline in that mucosal layer. This is inflammation, yes? the mucosal layer is depleted, the tight junctions are excessively leaky. So all of these things seep through, which creates problems. Then it also hinders our antioxidant production, because when the body's inflamed, it's not working as nature intended. So you're going to have free radicals running amok, and that creates excessive inflammation, oxidative stress, cellular rusting, premature aging, pretty much. And then you'll see the mitochondria that is also damaged because of the bacteria, because of the inflammation, because of the free radicals, the oxidative stress, right? So when we have leaky gut, that creates food sensitivities, intolerances, immune problems, autoimmune conditions. When the gut's not working, it's going to impact every single part of our body. We are not separate, right? This is probably where you hear the gut-brain connection, all these diseases, conditions, etc. And again, I'm just here, this is educational purposes only. We are not saying that, we're going to cure or mitigate any of these diseases or conditions. It's purely educational purposes only, trying to put it into perspective. When the gut's working properly, yes, we create happy hormones, all of the normal hormones, the enzymes, etc., for us to break down our food. When it's inflamed, when it's in a disease or stress state, it's going to impact your behavior, your emotions. It's going to increase inflammatory markers, intestinal dysbiosis, meaning you're not absorbing as nature intended. And so, for example, one of those hormones is serotonin, which is our happy hormone, right? Majority of it is made in the gut. Happy hormone, serotonin converts to melatonin, which helps us to get to sleep and stay asleep. If the gut's not working, you can see the real impact on what it's going to do and the impact on the whole body. So it's not all doom and gloom, right? You can flip the switch back on. And again, this is purely educational purposes, okay? We are not here to claim to cure, heal, prevent, mitigate, or diagnose any disease. All right, so let's get going. LifeVantage is the activation company. It will be 7 years since I aligned myself with LifeVantage, 7 years in December. And the reason I did was because I cannot get the same results using food or supplementation. What we're talking about tonight is not supplementation. When you're lacking something, you have a supplement to boost up levels. That could be, magnesium or vitamin C or vitamin D or zinc or something like that, minerals, right? So activation, you may not have heard the term, but it is in the media. But a lot of these books, they're all talking about activation, but they don't even realize it. What we're doing is switching back on the body's ability to work as nature intended. So we take it to make it. We take these activators to empower our bodies to make the internal antioxidants, the proteins, enzymes, peptides, hormones, all the things that we need for better health. Yeah. So, for example, we take these products that we're going to be talking about tonight, NRF2 activator to help us make our own antioxidants, the NRF1 activator to help us function our mitochondria better for energy. True Science Liquid Collagen, we take it to make our own collagen again, right? We take it to make it. So let's talk about oxidative stress. That's cellular rusting, right? All those free radicals that we were talking about. Cut an apple, banana, leave it on the bench, it goes brown. Same thing happens to us, and we cannot avoid it. Our environment is way more toxic than it was 20, 50, 100 years ago. Genetically modified food, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, Wi-Fi, the chemical load that we're putting on our skin, washing ourselves in our clothes, all of the above, stress, etc. Even exercise creates oxidative stress, and it impacts every single cell, proteins, DNA, which all create and contribute to premature aging and health concerns. These are some of the things that oxidative stress is linked to, hundreds. You can Google it yourself. Type in oxidative stress in any particular symptom, disease, or condition. So what happens is that when, as a nutritional therapist, Morgane and myself would say, you need to eat the rainbow. You need to eat foods that are really high in antioxidant molecules. But unfortunately, we cannot eat our way out of it because we have trillions of free radicals in every single cell, right? So, for example, Using food, it's a direct antioxidant. One antioxidant molecule will neutralize one free radical molecule. So, for example, a punnet of blueberries has about 6,500 antioxidant molecules. It will neutralize 6,500 free radical molecules. We would turn into one of those blueberry ladies or whatever it was, that girl on Willy Wonka. We could not eat our way out of it. So what we can do is reawaken the NRF2 protein pathway in our body, which will neutralize 1,000,000 to 1. So we're not forcing the body to do anything. We're just reawakening, turning that protein pathway back on, which turns on the internal antioxidant system catalase, glutathione, SOD. You probably remember glutathione has been in the news a lot lately, right? And rightly so, because glutathione is one of the master antioxidants. It is absolutely huge. And when we're low in glutathione, it's linked to a lot of diseases and conditions. And acetaminophen, Tylenol, paracetamol, it depletes your glutathione like that. It is extraordinary. We need to make sure we're boosting our glutathione. So if you have not seen this Primetime ABC investigative report, I really do recommend you go back to the person who was kind enough and cared enough to share and invite you to this. But Protandim NRF2 is just one tablet a day. They did a report on this in 2005, and this is like a current affair. He went in to debunk the studies. And what it showed, after just 2 weeks, it reduced oxidative stress by 45% in just 2 weeks, 70% in 4 weeks. Now, this one here is a study. It shows in our mid-20s, our NRF2 protein pathway starts to drop off. So then our oxidative stress levels increases. What they showed after 4 months of taking one tablet a day, they could not distinguish the age on a blood cellular test of a 20-year to an 80-year-old. They all looked like a 20-year-old. This is what we're talking about: cellular health, longevity, health span. And again, it's just one tablet a day. It activates your NRF2 protein pathway. It's been around since 2003. Reduces oxidative stress by a minimum of 40% in 30 days, increases glutathione by 300%. It's absolutely huge, absolutely powerful. And it's just 5 herbs, but it's the synergy that took over 40 years to perfect. 18 times more effective than if you were taking those individual ingredients together. Yeah, this is where I saw, holy dooly, I needed to shout this from the rooftops 18 times, because I was already taking all of those ingredients and I was not getting the results I wanted. My hair was falling out. I couldn't get into my clinic. I'd have to work from the comfort of my own home. You know, I was just get up and do the dishes, have to lay back down. I was totally spent. 3 days of adding these activators in, I felt like I was back in my 20s. Totally different result. And don't take my word for it. This is a 3rd-generation naturopath. He was like me, very skeptical. This is a dry blood analysis showing the levels of oxidative stress, and it's actually quite low. Well, it's still there, but compared to majority of people, this was actually good. But look at what it jumped to, I should say decreased to, after 30 days. When he saw this, he was like, I need to get this out to other people. Very similar to me. He was thinking of all of these people he could talk to. This gentleman here, he was a CrossFit athlete, and the doctor did a live blood analysis. This was before he added the Protandim. You can see the free radicals. The live blood was all clumping up together, and this was after 3 months. The live blood analysis was just free-flowing. All the cells were working perfectly. And this is a third-party study by Biogen Iodec. They actually formulated an MS drug called Tecfidera. This is their product here. They wanted to see what was out on the market. They wanted to do a comparison. This was the product I was using, sulforaphane. It's a broccoli sprout NRF2 activator. When I found out that Protandim was 7 times more effective than what I was using and what I was being taught to use, that's when I got cranky, because why haven't I heard about this before? It's been around since 2003. I didn't hear about it until 2018. Yeah. What this does is that These survival genes, everyone has over 400 survival genes that are overexpressed or underexpressed due to the environment. Epigenetics, you've probably heard about it. When things are overexpressed, it leads to disease. When it's underexpressed, again, it can lead to disease because everything's out of tune. When you take this 1 bottle per decade that you've been on the planet, so if it's me, I'm closer to 60, I give it a minimum of 6 months. This is what happens. Everything comes back into balance. The body can go and start to heal on a cellular level. So you can use food or supplementation, 1-to-1 ratio. You'd need 11 pounds. It's like 7 kilos of blueberries, 375 oranges, or 87 glasses of red wine. I like my red wine, but that's a bit too much. Or you can take 1 tablet a day. This is far more effective, far more costly. This lady here, I don't have time to go through all of her information and stuff, but she was struggling horrendously, right, on so many different medications, on morphine, etc. And then within starting on the activators, within, I think it was like, what has she got here? I went from having 19 health issues to being able to rock climbing. Yeah. So she started on the activators in April 2019 and it made a massive comeback. Like, this woman couldn't even work. And look at her, she's doing flips on the trampoline. 1 tablet a day. That's all it was. Okay, let's jump into the mitochondria. That's the little organelles, the battery in every single cell. It's a bit deceiving because this is the cell. It looks like there's only 3 mitochondria per cell. But for example, our muscles have 200 mitochondria. Our heart, our brain, our lungs, about 10,000 little mitochondria per cell. Our ovaries, about 100,000. This is vital for cellular reproduction, right? Mitochondria take a copy of a copy of a copy. If it's dysfunctional, if it's leaking, it's spewing out more free radicals instead of ATP. When it's healthy, the organelle, it produces a small amount of free radicals. But as you can see, when it's damaged, when it's leaky, it's going to create a problem. And again, do your own research. It's linked to many diseases, many conditions. So Protandim NRF1, we take it to help support and regenerate healthy functional mitochondria, right? Increases the energy levels, focus, concentration. This is some of the before and afters that I work with in regards to children. All right, so let's jump into the collagen. Collagen is way more than just hair, skin, and nails. Collagen from your mouth to your anus is pretty much collagen. We need it. Yeah. Deficiencies of collagen, glyphosate, that's Roundup. Inflammation, sugar, inflammatory diet, stress, UV damage, menopause, oxidative stress, and just pollution, toxins, right? You can get collagen from many different sources, food, supplements, even this stuff here. I took this photo. This was at Coles. And I was absolutely gobsmacked that majority of them don't even have collagen in it, or they don't even state what type of collagen it is. The collagen that we use and recommend is a liquid collagen. It activates, reawakens your collagen production. It replenishes the collagen that you've lost, and it maintains, meaning you're not going to break down any further collagen. So we need it for our hair, our muscles, our joints, our gut health, our bones. Our bones are 40% collagen. Our eyes are 90% collagen. So as you can see, it's way more than just vanity. It's way more than just hair, skin, and nails, right? We have 10 different types of collagen, 10 different peptides. And I'm not going to go through all these because we don't have enough time. If you want more information, again, reach out and we can send more. But when you're looking at this, especially these two, in regards to everything that's happened since COVID, if you know, you know. You need to talk to us about these products. Absolutely extraordinary. So some of the before and afters, I'll touch on that a little bit later. But the real point of difference, there's a lot of other collagens out there, but you can see here, ours activates collagen. They don't. Replenish, it's a marine collagen, maintains. It's a marine, it's hydrolyzed, meaning we can guarantee 90% absorption. Yeah. It's not a powder. Powder's anywhere from 10 to 30% absorption. It has 5 grams of collagen. It's portable, a little 50 ml bottle that you drink every single day. I personally swallow it with my NRF2 tablet every single day, never miss a day. It activates another internal antioxidant, superoxide dismutase, and it has 10 peptides. As you can see, many others don't list what type they have, or they're lucky if they have 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4. So some of the before and afters, yeah, this is extraordinary. This is no touch up or anything like that. It's just adding collagen and being consistent, taking it every single day. It's helping with the elasticity. It's helping with skin conditions, stretch marks, cellulite, muscle tone. There's just so many different things. So yeah, like this lady here, Patty, she's the mum of a friend that I have over in the US. So we take this stack. It's much cheaper to buy it together. We call it the Healthy Glow Stack. We take it to help make our antioxidants, to help us make our own collagen again. Now, I want to bring to your attention again, when we were talking about intestinal inflammation, yeah, look at this. When this is all leaky and inflamed, anyone that's a science geek like me and you want to talk more about this, reach out. But this increases inflammatory markers even more. Interleukin 1B, interleukin 1-8, all of the inflammatory markers. When you take these 2 products together, we have robust science backing all of this up, independent peer-reviewed studies all throughout the company. It's why I've aligned with the company. It's robust science. It's natural. But look at this. Interleukin 1B reduced by 97. Interleukin 1-6, 88. All of these are inflammatory markers. It's extraordinary. Some of the before and afters. We're talking about skin conditions. Again, we're not claiming to heal, cure, mitigate, but it's amazing what happens when you give the body what it needs. Look at this everyday function. She could not flatten her hands. Yeah? Again, pain, discomfort, gone. 82-year-old. Look at the glow of her hands. You wouldn't even think it's the same person. This gentleman here, again, additional products as well, but it's the foundation of the Healthy Glow. Okay, so I just want to leave it with this. We either find a way or we fade away. We ask you, it's time to get loud, and it's no wonder we have so many people jumping on and sharing this. So, if you've got more questions and you just want to get started as a consumer, as a customer, that's perfectly fine. But if you're a health professional or you're just someone that's passionate like us and you're thinking of all the people that could benefit from this, then again, reach out. We are a publicly traded company. You can buy shares in this company. All the products are listed with the TGA. They're approved by the Banned Substance Control Group, meaning we have Olympians on these products. Yeah. They're listed with the NSF, meaning everything's triple tested. What's on the label is exactly what you're consuming with the product. And Erin Brockovich is heavily involved with LifeVantage, the real Erin Brockovich, the one they made the movie about. Yeah, she's with us. So many credible news reports, publications. We're all over it. Books and TV shows, they all feature LifeVantage and the products. We are listed with so many universities and organizations. You can do your own research. But yeah, it's independent, it's robust. So just want to leave you with this. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And where we are, 1% of the population on the planet have heard about LifeVantage, have heard about activation. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, because you're open. You're wanting to learn more. You're wanting to take charge of your health and potentially your future. So I just want to say thank you. I will hand back over to you now, Morgane, and we can finish it up. Thank you so much, darling.
Thanks, Rhonda. Thank you so much. That was unbelievable. A lot of information, but it's so worth it. So worth it. So if anyone has any question, make sure you reach out to the person who invited you, because there's a lot of information there, and we had to condense as much as possible in half an hour. We're a little bit over time. So yeah, if you have any question, Risha, it's a lot of information. So for me, every time I hear it, I'm still blown away. And I really, really want to thank you, Rhonda. It's just to see what moms do for their children, how you're helping people, how we are helping people. And for those who know me, who work with me and consulted me as a nutritional therapy practitioner, you could see what works. So when I'm into something, I'm into something. So I really want to say thank you again to everyone who joining us tonight. And before we stop the recording, I will share a little bit of my workshop that I'm going to hold locally.